Good evening, everyone. Welcome to On Deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan. We are honored to be here with Peter Gallagher from Touchdown in Paradise, second time on the show. Pete, thank you for coming on. How we doing tonight?
Dude, I'm doing great, actually. I know we got a number of things to talk about, especially the White Sox and other stuff like that. I just got back from Chicago myself, catching a Cubs-A's game, which was pretty damn cool the other day. So, yeah, I'm feeling good about this last part of the season, man. And, I'm excited to be on. Thanks for having me a second time around. I'm glad you invited me back. I didn't suck that bad.
Yeah, Pete. It's always great. You're the only guest we got. These other people, they're not ready. They can't handle it, Pete.
They just don't get it, dude. That's what it is.
All right, Pete. So obviously, big Dodgers fan. Obviously, we got Dodgers news. I want to hit some of that because we got a lot. We're right here, middle of September. Playoff races heating up. We got some amazing records going on right now. But you brought it up a little before. You lived in Chicago for a long time. We got the White Sox right now. They're actually playing right now. They're in the 13th, middle of the 13th, 3-3 with the Angels. But that's not the big thing. Is the White Sox right now going for the most losses in the MLB. The record is 120 by the 1968 Mets. The other one is the Cleveland Spiders, but I don't count that. That was like 1902, so that's way out. But 120, 1968 Mets. So they lose 5 games. They get the record. You being a Chicago guy, I'm sure you've been to a couple White Sox games. I don't know what they call it. It's not Comiskey anymore, I don't think.
No, and I'll tell you, back when I used to live there, it was U.S. Cellular Field. I think I had just moved to Chicago in 2005 when they won the World Series. And it's so funny. I was just back in Chicago this week for work because obviously that's where I'm at. And just talking to people about the Sox, kind of. When I first moved to Chicago, I thought the city of Chicago rooted for both the Cubs and the Sox the same. So when I moved there in '05 and they won the World Series, I was like, oh, man, everyone's going to be jazzed. Yeah, no, dude. Like half the city was like, screw these guys. So that same vibe is right now. The entire north side of the city is loving this. Yeah, they're reveling in it. I mean, they try not to think about the Cubs. They're like, oh, we don't worry or about the Sox. Like, we don't worry about them. All these Cubs fans, they do. It's always on their mind how the Sox are doing. So, one thing about this losing, how many games they're going to lose, right? If you're going to be bad at something, you might as well be the worst to ever do it. So why not go for it? Not to say they'll actually do that, but technically it would be a success being have the most losses in the history of the MLB. At least you can hang your hat on something, I know that Reinsdorf and the entire family there is not happy with what's going on. I know there have been some changes. I haven't been keeping up too much with the Sox, but there's definitely going to be more changes going forward. But it also kind of sounds like they just are trying to figure it out, and they're not. So I'm excited to kind of see what's going to happen in the offseason with them. But almost everyone in Chicago is either reveling in them losing or just not even caring about them. And I guess both are about the same level of, they don't matter right now. So,
you brought it up. You're there. You moved to Chicago when they won in '05. I mean, I know you said obviously you're a Dodgers guy, but yep. I know you're a sports guy, so you're watching SportsCenter, you're seeing the highlights, and you're there in Chicago. How you see a White Sox highlight, and you were there in the heyday of the White Sox. How embarrassing is it to see that this fan, that the stadium's got 6,000 people maybe in there?
It's pretty damn embarrassing. I mean, it's almost like they're the Oakland A's, maybe slightly better in terms of attendance, but. Yeah, it's embarrassing. And I will tell you, I also lived in Michigan as a kid when the Lions basically, didn't win a game or won one game all season. So maybe it's wherever I move. Eventually, the team almost has the worst record ever. Yeah, it's embarrassing. I will tell you, from living in Michigan when the Lions went through that was embarrassing. Like, you didn't even want to wear Lions gear. You didn't want anyone anywhere knowing that you were a fan of the Lions. It's the same thing with the Sox right now. They're not even showing up, man. I mean, why would you? The product is so bad. The food is amazing at that stadium. So that says a lot. If the amazing food, probably one of the best food scenes in the country at a major league ballpark, can't draw people in with cheap tickets. That's how you know it's bad. So, yeah, it's just it's embarrassing. But I will say, when most people think Chicago, they think Cubs. They don't really think the Sox.
No.
So they're already fighting a perception where they have to try to, outpace the team in their own city. So yeah, it's hard, man. I feel bad for those Sox fans. Sox fans are ride or die, bro. Like literally they love them. And I feel really bad for them this season.
I'm not never been to Chicago, but I feel if you're not from the South Side, you don't love the Sox. But I don't know if
that's true.
If you saw the little post of the reliever who got traded from the Dodgers to the White Sox in the Kopech trade, and you just saw his face is just total despair, just no emotions whatsoever. I'm like, you go from one of the best teams in baseball to the worst team, could be the worst team in MLB history.
Yeah, I did see that.
It is 100% sad because, White Sox are a historic franchise, even though, the Cubs are always going to dominate Chicago. They've been around for a while, some killer uniforms, those throwbacks. But,
yeah.
It's kind of embarrassing because, Chicago is definitely a rich baseball town. So,
it is.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it does feel bad because I think we got Kopech in that trade. He's a Dodger now. He's been tearing it up for us. But yeah, when we sent our guy over there, and I saw the clip where he's just like on the bench or whatever, he's just like, oh my god, just like literally like having the worst freaking time. It's almost like he wants to quit baseball. That's how bad he looked like he was. How bad the time was. Yeah, I feel bad for him. That kid played really good for the Dodgers. I think that trade worked out for us. So I'm happy that we got Kopech because he's tearing it up and kind of just looks like a Viking, like just like, the long hair, all that stuff. The dude he's a good vibe for the Dodgers and he's pitching great. So
that was a great bullpen ad for the Dodgers.
It was, yeah, huge. But yeah, no, man, the Southsiders are diehard, bro. Like they literally are diehard. And they are dying right now, hard, straight up.
I'm a nut. That's the thing. When I'm a nut job Jets fan, and you got to kind of be a little crazy to be a Jets fan. But I ride or die for the Jets. I know we're baseball. We'll talk a little, but Jets have been losing for the last, haven't been in the playoffs in 13 years. So I get it. The amount of passion, even though like every year I know the Jets are going to suck. I'm like, hey. I'm not going to follow as much this year. They go 4-5. They're 4-5. They're in the thick of things. Even Zach Wilson, a couple of years where they, Mike White came in. I'm like, it won't be a great year, and they're right in the wild. I'm all in. So I 100% get it, and they break your heart every time. But I could see it tough. We got another one. The Angels will, if they lose 6 more, they'll get their franchise record with 96. That's another. The Los Angeles Anaheim Angels.
Yeah,
but that's tough because I'm being a baseball guy. I'm a big Ron Washington guy. I love Ron Washington, and I'm an infielder.
Me too.
So I love what he does for infielders and the passion. And being the head coach is tough. So I hope they don't just ship him away after 1 year. I feel like he deserved another shot to be a manager, and to kind of get saddled with that. And then Trout goes down, and you lose Ohtani in the offseason.
Yeah.
I don't know the ownership. I think they should go back to the Anaheim Angels. It's in Anaheim. They had very good karma when they were there. They beat hell, won a World Series when they were the Anaheim Angels. So I think they should go back to. They're in Orange County. They're not in LA. It's not LA. It's not like they're in LA County. They're in Orange County.
Yeah, and it's the same vibe with the Sox. Both LA and Chicago, other than also having a lot of transplants from both cities and being two amazing cities, very similar when it comes to the fans and the teams. No one cares about the Angels here unless you live in Orange County. Then you are a diehard Angels fan. But even down there, they don't care now. They suck. I like Ron Washington a lot. That guy is a baseball legend. So I truly hope this one season, or I think it's his first season with them, right? This doesn't get marred by this bullshit. Like, Trout goes down, you lose Ohtani. Dude, two of your best players. Historical players, too. Not just like, oh, no, he was our best player last year. Like, historical Hall of Fame players. And the one comes to the Dodgers, and he's going for the 50 for 50. Pretty sure Ron Washington could have used those 50 home runs.
It's definitely. Ohtani's going for something that's never been done in baseball.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And Mike Trout. A lot of people don't know Mike Trout because he's been with the Angels, and every time the Angels come on in Central Time Zone or Eastern Time Zone, the game's 10 o'clock. who's watching
Exactly.
the game. So it's tough. And Trout could be one of the best players we've ever seen. Now he can't really stay. He's had struggle with time staying healthy and on the field, but it's definitely a shame. And I really hope they give Ron Washington a couple more years. But we're gonna jump right in. We're gonna do a little rundown before we jump into our next topic, just on clinching. So
Sure.
I'll start off with the AL. The Yankees need 8 to clinch the East. They need 6 to clinch a bye, just because the AL East is Baltimore's stacked. Cleveland
Yep.
needs 7 for the Central, 6 for a bye. Astros need 7 altogether. They're probably Astros got the West wrapped up. I'm sorry, Pete. Baltimore
Yeah,
needs
no, I think they do. Yeah.
Baltimore 6. They'll get the first seed. KC 7 to clinch the wild card, and Minnesota 9. We got the Dodgers need 8 to clinch the West and 10 for a bye. Obviously, win losses will, knock these all down if the team loses. But I mean, that's what the numbers is. Phillies need 4, 8 for a bye. Obviously, Philly's best record in baseball right now. Milwaukee just 1 for the Central. They're out of the bye. San Diego needs 6. Arizona and the Mets need 10. The Mets, one of the hottest teams in baseball since I think it was July 3rd. But Pete, we're gonna have a little fun today. Do a little something different. We're gonna talk about just do a little predictions on MLB first team. Obviously, the season's winding down. We're right here in October baseball. I can start smelling it. October, I'm getting pumped for that Fox song when October baseball rolls around. So I'm jacked.
Yeah.
Obviously, both our teams are going to be right in the thick of things. I do want to mention, we mentioned a little before, Ohtani, 48 home runs. I think he's got 48 stolen bases. I mean, just to see what this guy's doing on offense is just out of this world. Obviously, he's never been done. And what's the vibe with Ohtani right now and what he's doing in LA?
It is magical. I don't even know how else to explain it. It's magical, and it feels like a magical season, not only because of what he's doing and how he's doing it, but the circumstances with having so many guys injured and stuff like this. The fact that he's doing all this, carrying the team, basically putting us on his back, and and we're only we only get 2 games back, or two worse off than the Phillies, who have the best record in baseball. It's like, it's actually magical and astonishing. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the postseason, which I think is good, because a lot of years I think going into it, I'm like, oh, we got this. I don't really know, so I'm kind of excited to see what happens. I just know that guy is big time. Every time he is up, it's almost like he's going to get a home run or he's going to get on base. Like, hardly ever strikes out. It's just crazy. Like, he is appointment television whenever he is playing.
Yeah,
Even if the Dodgers are down 10-1, he comes up. There's no one else on. You got to watch him. It's appointment television. I have watched more Dodgers games, I think, this year than any other, because of mainly him, and not just the hype around him. Like, obviously everyone's like, oh, you got to watch him. But literally what he's doing, he is dominating and delivering like a lot of Dodgers players have not done in the past. He truly is like probably the best baseball player I've ever seen, which is crazy. And he hasn't even pitched for us.
He's definitely is, and he's must-watch TV every time he steps to the plate.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane to see what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball. And the Dodgers only 2 back of the Phillies. When they lose, Mookie Betts for a nice chunk of the season too, which is probably if it's not Ohtani, Betts is one of the best players in baseball. So I mean, only 2 back. And I mean, hey, we're right here. We're September 18th, October, right around the corner. We got 11 games left. So, yeah, I'm jacked. I love October baseball. 2 of the best times. March Madness, October baseball, But, hey, we're going to kick it in. We're going to do a little predictions, Pete. So, we're going to start off with catcher. I got 2 names for first team MLB. I got William Contreras and I got Salvador Perez. You're going to be the first guy to go on. William Contreras this year's batting .281, 364 on base percentage, 472 slugging, 90 RBIs, 22 home runs. Salvador Perez is .275, 363 on base, 472 slugging, 102 RBIs, 27 home runs. You're going to kick us off. Who you got, Pete? All right. Well, I'm gonna kick us off here.
Sorry, my bad. I was muted. Go ahead, Russ. I was muted.
He's
Sorry.
on a tape delay here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick us off. I think William Contreras has been the best catcher in baseball. You know, definitely started the All-Star game for the team. What he's doing this year for the Brewers, definitely for me, what he's doing for the Brewers this year was a team I wrote off right when they made that Burns trade, and they're right in the, you know, probably going to win the Central. So I mean, I got Contreras. I would love to see. I love Salvador Perez being a former baseball player. I love to see the passion. I'd probably put him second team, but I think Contreras is just too good this year and having too much of a good year to not get that first team. And to be a guy who wasn't, you know, they got traded from Atlanta. He wasn't even the starting catcher. You know, he was getting some platoon time.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's who I was going to go with. I will say Perez is a stud, but I just think there's something about the Brew Crew and what Contreras is doing. It's just special. He's having a great season. The Brewers are playing amazing right now. They always scare me come the playoffs as a Dodgers fan. Like I'm always worried, man. So yeah, I think it's going to be Contreras too. But if it was Salvador Perez, I'd be perfectly cool with it. You know.
I mean, I'm with you. I love Perez. I just love to see a guy who plays with so much youthful energy, and he's 35, but he plays with so much passion. And you see that passion even when the World Baseball Classic rolls around. He's got so much passion for Venezuela, for his country, just for the game of baseball. It's just he's a kid out there, and you love to see that because everybody who played baseball, you just want to be a kid your whole life and go play the game, and that's why we play sports. You still want to be out there playing a kid, and that's why. I mean, we missed Pete last night. He's playing soccer because he just wants to be a kid. He wants to play.
Exactly. You know, I'm not even getting paid. It's for the love of the game. Yeah. You know, all right. So, risk an injury. You know.
I think Contreras got it, but I think we both agree. And I'd definitely be scared of the Brewers this year. They kind of embody the Midwest, where a lot of these sports teams in the Midwest, maybe, you know, you're not the best team, but they're just gritty. You know, a lot of those. So, I mean, I could definitely see, you know, they find a way to grind it out, and that's what they've done all year. All right, we're gonna move it to first base. We got my three names are Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bryce Harper, Freddie Freeman. So both Harper and Freeman got 28 RBI, 28 home runs. 28 RBIs would be terrible. 319 for Guerrero, 290. Freeman's 280. Now we got 96 RBIs for Guerrero, Harper 82, 87 for Freeman. For me, I'm going to kick it off here. Bryce Harper's missed some time. I love to see what Bryce Harper's done, making that, you know, what he's done, making that full change with that injury from the outfield to infield. I love to watch that story of Harper, seeing the amount of work he put in to make that change to first base. The Phillies said he came into this spring training like didn't even have a roster spot, and he was working his ass off to play first base. I go back to I don't know if you're a Moneyball guy with
oh yeah,
and it's the guy who's Ron Washington and who, you know, Billy Beane, who's played by Brad Pitt, and he's like, first base not that hard, Scott. And Ron Washington, the guy playing, he's like, it's incredibly hard. So I can
yeah.
But I mean, personally, for me, I think it's Vladimir Guerrero. His numbers are off the charts. I think Harper's missed some time. I would, if it was, you know, like something like an MVP, like you see in basketball, which should be the best player on, you know, team making the biggest impact on his team, I give it to Freddie Freeman, because even though Freddie Freeman's not the best player on the Dodgers, obviously Ohtani and Betts, that guy's the heartbeat of the Dodgers. And I mean, the heartbeat of baseball. I mean, I love watching Freddie Freeman play, the guy, the passion. So, I mean, I'm giving it to Guerrero. I mean, 319's insane, but I would not be complaining if Freddie Freeman loved it. I even though I'm not a Dodgers fan, I love watching Freddie Freeman play baseball.
Yeah, no, he's something special. And I will tell you, I know he's been out. He was injured a little bit, and then he had the thing with his son, which thank God that turned out okay, that medical scare. The team is not the same. The Dodgers are not the same when he is not playing. And it's not even just a stats thing. It's just he just kind of grounds the team. I feel like he's very consistent. He's one of the best leaders. I mean, if not the best leader on that team. He doesn't even you don't see him talk a whole lot. He's not too boisterous, but he's just a guy that shows up, gets it done, is clutch. And yeah, when he's not there, a part of that three-headed monster kind of with him, Mookie, and Ohtani, it's not the same. I think Guerrero is going to win it just simply because of the stats. And this isn't a team award, this is not like, if it was, then Bryce Harper should win it because his team is the best at all three, Toronto, LA, and Philly. I don't care who wins it. I will just say watching the Dodgers without him, and that's probably a detriment because he missed some time and stuff, so he hasn't played as many games, but they're a different team without him. And that's mostly what I watch. I don't catch every Phillies game, although I've seen a lot of them. Toronto, I will tell you, I've not seen a lot. I've mainly just seen his highlights. But, yeah, the Dodgers are a different team without Freeman. And, so I'm going to go with the Toronto Vlad Guerrero Jr. as well. The dude's a stud. Can hit the ball a mile. I like him a lot. Ever since he came in the MLB, I was like, oh, hell yeah, this guy's like built like his dad. He just freaking hit the crap out of it. So good for him. I mean, he's having an amazing season. Hopefully he wins it. If he doesn't, the other two guys are just as deserving.
I remember when he was coming up, he might have been 19, 20, and it was him and Carlos Perez, Tampa Bay Ray, longtime Tampa Bay Ray, doing MLB. And I think he might be in Buffalo or their AA affiliate, and he's just talking about hitting, obviously speaking Spanish. He's got a tee out, and this guy is just dropping bombs off a tee. I mean, you're in the still ball off a tee. It's like, and he is just boom bust. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy, just the amount of power in here. I mean, I can see you hitting home runs off a 95-mile-per-hour fastball because that ball jumps, but off a tee, it's insane.
He's also built like a brick shithouse. That's also true.
Let's skinny down a little bit, like your dad. But they also got his brother just got signed, and I think his cousin is also getting either he's 16 in the DR or just got signed too. So
good for them. The baseball runs in the family.
Baseball's in the now. Going to second base. Second base for me, second base is pretty. There's two really good second basemen. Obviously, we got. I think it's Kentel Marte with the Diamondbacks. You've probably seen him a little bit this year, more than me, because games are on at 10 o'clock here on the East. And your favorite player, Jose Altuve.
That son of a gun.
Marte's batting 292. On base is 366. The slugging's 553. But then you go to Altuve. Altuve batting 302, 357 on base percentage, 477 slugging percentage. Now Marte's got 87 RBIs, 32 home runs. Altuve's 63 and 19. He did miss a little time. I'm gonna go to you, Pete. Who you got getting that nod for second base?
I think it's Marte. I think this one's kind of easy. His stats are better. Diamondbacks. I mean, they used to not worry about me. We always used to call them Dodgers East for good reason, because every time there was a game, there was pretty much no Diamondback fans. But the race that we're in right now, I mean, they're only how many games back? 5.5. Now it's been a little closer, but they've really made a turn this season with the Padres as well. The second half, getting after the Dodgers. I just think he's been playing really well. I do see a lot of their games too, because when I turn on the MLB app, it's always Dodgers or them pretty much if it's a West Coast game. So I'm always flipping between them both. And that guy's a stud. I'd be happy to have him on the Dodgers, man. He's really good. So I think he's going to win it. Also, I don't like Altuve, but I don't think he deserves to win it this year over Marte.
Yeah, I'm
biased.
I'm with you. Marte's stats, what he's doing for the Diamondbacks this year, obviously kind of turned it around. Obviously, only 5.5 back, right there in that wild card hunt. Will be 2 games back of the Padres for that first wild card spot, which that wild card is definitely heating up. It's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah.
In the National League, it's pretty close. So it's very fun to watch. You don't really know what's going to pan out with that wild card, who's getting that first spot, because they're only 2.5 games apart. Mets, Braves, Diamondbacks, and Padres. So it's you don't know who's getting that first wild card or third. But Marte's stats, what Marte's doing, that slugging 533, 32 home runs, definitely picking up, being that leader. Where Corbin Carroll not having as a big year with the Diamondbacks, he's that guy this year that leadoff hitter scares you right off the bat because and he does it from both sides of the plate. But yeah, I mean, NL All-Star starting second baseman. I mean, I think Altuve. Obviously, we all know what happened with the Astros. Is always going to have that asterisk, and people are always going to hate him. I mean, I had my years where I did not like him. I'm kind of now like, hey, he's made it up. He's showing his stats are showing that it wasn't just him getting it. I mean, now getting the calls definitely helps. I remember I can't remember the year, but Chapman and Altuve going, he's on fastball, and all of a sudden he throws a slider and Altuve just bam. I'm like, oh, he's getting, you didn't know, but then he's getting he knows it's coming. So these guys are, MLB players for the reason. I mean, it might be a nasty slider, but it's coming. I mean, if I know a slider's coming, I mean, I might not hit it out of the ballpark. I know I'm going to be able to sit back and get contact. This guy's an MLB guy, but for me, what Altuve does for the numbers he puts up for his size, being 5'6", is so impressive. But obviously, him having don't take my jersey off when he rounds the plate, he's always going to have that associated with him.
Just one point on that. I hate him. I literally hate him, and I hate the entire Astros organization and every single guy that was on that 2016 to 2020 run or whenever we discovered it. But I will say he's kind of done a very good job about just like blocking it out, not addressing it, and still playing baseball. And yeah, he's a damn good baseball player. So I hate him. He can suck one, but he's very good at baseball. So for that, I do kind of commend him a little bit where he's been able to like still play at an all-star level and show that like, hey, yeah, that might have taken me out of the stratosphere, but I'm still pretty high up in space. You're almost in space, So
I mean,
yeah, good for him.
The year they beat the Dodgers was the Yankees played them in the ALCS, and they go into Houston up 3-2. Then they lose game 6 and 7. But I mean, everybody's like, oh, they're cheating. I'm like, yeah, the Yankees, they beat the Yankees. I think it was 3-2. I mean, you still got to be. They weren't cheating on the pitching side. You still got to be able to hit the ball. Where I was like, hey, they might have been, getting some tips from our pitchers, which they definitely did. But I'm like, we didn't on the offensive side of the ball where you're going up against Justin Verlander in his prime. We didn't get the offensive numbers to win, even if they were cheating. And I mean, it's the same thing with some of those Dodgers in the World Series. Which is like but you see it from both sides. I'm like, I see it. I being a fan pisses me off, but also I'm like, you got to kind of, even though when you're a diehard Dodgers fan, I'm like, hey, we got the pitchers on those teams shoved it up everybody's ass who they went against, and they did it to us, they did it to you, but it's definitely always going to be that marker on Altuve's career or anybody, especially Carlos Correa's career. Those type of guys will always have that with them. Alex Cora, because
I feel like the one guy who kind of escapes it is Bregman. I feel like he doesn't get as much hate as the other guys do. I don't know why that is.
He wasn't on the first World Series.
Oh, he was 17, wasn't he?
Was he on? I don't know if he was on 17.
Yeah, I mean he's 30 years old. I mean he was. Yeah, he joined the Astros in 2016. He was on that team. That's why it's so shocking sometimes he doesn't get nearly as much like vitriol or hate. I don't know why that is. Maybe he just kind of seems like a chill dude who, I know he owns like a salsa company and he's always down at LSU doing shit. But yeah, for some reason, he doesn't get the hate that the other guys do. Even for myself, like I actually kind of like Bregman, whereas the other guys I hate. So who knows?
All right, so
mass psychology, who knows?
It's the guys still on the Astros from that team are Altuve, Bregman, Verlander, and Lance McCullers.
No, McCullers, that's son of a gun, yeah.
Who can't stay healthy either. So we'll go to third base.
Sure.
Third base is. I mean, for me, third base is a little. I know who they got the running favorite. Obviously, I got my two names. We got Rafael Devers. He's batting 277, 359, 526 slugging percentage, 83 RBIs, 26 home runs. Then you got Jose Ramirez, who's 272, .330 on base, .513 slugging, 107 RBIs, and 35 home runs. Would you like to kick it off for us, Pete, or you want me to go?
No, I think I'll go. I'm going to take Ramirez, man. I mean, just simply looking at how many more runs he has, RBIs he has, and how many more runs he's added on to his team with homers and stuff. I'm going to say him. I mean, I like Devers a lot. The dude's a stud. I can't remember. I think did he miss some games this season? I can't remember if he was out at all. Or
not a ton of games, but he's missed some.
Yeah, not a ton. But yeah, I'm going to go Ramirez, man. Also, I'm not a Boston guy, so but that doesn't play any factor into this, I promise. Because I actually do like Devers. He's a good player, man. I would happily have him on the Dodgers. I think we even tried to get him a couple of years ago. But yeah, I'm going to go Jose Ramirez. I think just based on those two things, home runs and RBIs, simply what he has helped runs he's helped get in, I'm just going to go with him.
I mean, Pete, I'm very surprised. I thought you were going to go Devers because I'm going Jose Ramirez too.
Oh, okay.
I love, and this isn't a bias thing. I think Devers. I love watching Devers, and even Garrett Cole came out and said, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, which it's another month but it's Hispanic Heritage Month. And they asked Cole, who's your least favorite Latin hitter to pitch against? And he goes, Rafael Devers. And I'm like, yeah. I 100% agree. I grew up in the era where the Yankees were dominant, and Mariano Rivera's untouchable. And there's one batter I never wanted to see, and that was Big Papi, David Ortiz. And
I'm not going to
put him
Latin legend.
I can't put him in the same stratosphere, the same yet, because Papi's going to be a Hall of Famer. But I mean, this is the one guy who really scares me. But I mean, I 100% just to see the amount of RBIs Ramirez has, home runs, what he's doing for a Cleveland team, which the hope. I mean, Cleveland should win the Central and probably will. And nobody was really picking the Indians to win. So what he's doing, you see that, you see the average, you see that on-base percentage, the slugging percentage is solid, 107 RBI. So this guy's doing it with runners in scoring position is pretty impressive. Now I mean, Devers probably the betting favorite, but just to see the like you said, the number of RBIs and home runs this guy's bringing in for a first place team is impressive. The 107 number, that's pretty solid. Now we'll move to shortstop, which I think this is the funnest position to talk about in baseball.
It is.
I love short. The amount of youth in shortstop is amazing. So we got Bobby Witt Jr. betting 332, 386 on base, 600 slugging, 108 RBIs, 32 home runs. Gunnar Henderson betting 280. 336, 540 slugging, 87 RBIs, 37 home runs. Lindor, who has missed some time, he did miss some time and he's hurt right now, was betting 297, 385, 504, 69, and 17. Now, I'm going to kick this off because all this time on the show, I've been raving about these young shortstops, and I think we got two of the young best ones right there in Witt, Bobby Witt Jr. and Gunnar Henderson. I mean, I feel going into the year, this was Gunnar Henderson's award, and the stats he's putting up this year with 87 RBIs and 37 home runs, I was like, oh, he's the best shortstop in baseball, and he's 21, 22, But then the numbers Bobby Witt's putting up this year, 108 RBIs, 32 home runs. This guy is the best shortstop in baseball. Just landed a nice fat contract in the offseason. I think he could be the AL MVP. He probably won't get it because we got another player who's just having an amazing season. But it's Bobby Witt all the way. I feel bad. I think Gunnar deserves a first team nod, but the stats Bobby Witt's putting up is just too nuts for me.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Russ. I really thought it was Henderson's too, and I've watched a lot of Orioles games, not only because they've been on national TV a lot on ESPN and Fox, but in general, I usually throw them on. I've been to Baltimore a couple games there. Absolutely love the ballpark. It's one of the best places to go catch a game anywhere in the country. You get your little natty bow with some Old Bay on the rim. Like, you can't beat it, man. Like, just something about Baltimore baseball I love. And Alabama legend Gunnar Henderson, I thought this was going to be his season. And he still had a great season. But the other guy's just kind of kicking his butt out of nowhere. So I don't think there's any way Henderson wins this. I really thought he was going to just run away with it. But Witt is just having a career year, man. So, I'm with you. I don't think there's any way you cannot choose him. Just simply, not even based on wins and all that, just the stats. Like, he's killing it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's
yeah.
And Lindor could be an MVP candidate too, for in the NL.
Yeah, it just sucks that he's missing time, but yeah.
But if it's definitely a team award, Lindor's right there because what the Mets have turned it on, definitely struggling right off the bat, and people writing them off, and now they're right in the thick of the wild card. Maybe get that third wild card spot, maybe the second. But yeah, but the numbers Witt's doing it is just it's insane. Now outfield is fun for me. I love first team outfield. We got Aaron Judge, who we all know Aaron Judge, 53 home runs, 132 RBIs. We got Jared Duran, 72 RBIs. He's got 32 stolen bases. I got to put Mookie Betts in there, but his numbers are not the same because he was injured for a chunk of the season, and that's going to affect him. I'm a diehard Yankees fan. I hate the Red Sox, but I love Mookie Betts. I love watching him play baseball because he just plays it the right way. We got a close your ears, a San Diego Padre, Jackson Merrill. He's batting .290. He's got 98 RBIs. He's a rookie too, right there in the Rookie of the Year running. And then we got Juan Soto, 285. His slugging's 567, 414 on base, 101 RBIs, 39 home runs. Would you like to kick us off? You want me to go first, Pete?
I'll let you go first, Russ, because you're a Yankees guy and you got two Yankees on the list there. So I'll let the Yankees homer go at it.
Oh, well, I try. I am a homer. I try not to be on this because this is an MLB show. We talk all baseball.
Sure.
But in everything in this podcast world, we got you kind of lean towards your team. You know this, Pete. You got the Dodgers. You lean towards the Irish on our college football show. But I mean, Aaron Judge, obviously, he's going to be the AL MVP. I mean, 53 home runs. Obviously, he's slowed down. I thought he could have got maybe 63 this year, but they're not pitching to him as much. And just the threat of him being he's a threat every time he steps up. The amount of walks he's getting is insane.
Crazy.
Where I kind of, I got my two are locked in and they're locked in. Where I kind of waver back and forth is Jared Duran with the Red Sox batting .286, Jackson Merrill. I'm giving the nod to Merrill. And this guy's doing it as a 21-year-old. He's batting .290, 98 RBIs. I watch this guy, and there is no blank when he's up at the plate. You don't see any youth. I love Jackson Merrill. I think he could win the NL Rookie of the Year. And doing it at such a young age, and he's probably the best player, one of the best players on the Padres right now. But I'm going to go off the number one guy, the guy who's a lock, Juan Soto, 285. That slugging percentage at 567 is nuts. 414 on-base percentage, 101 RBIs, 39 home runs. Just the amount, what this guy does, the plate discipline, watching him, it just changes everything. He's the best. As much as I love Aaron Judge, he's the best player on that team, and he makes when he is not in the lineup, there is a massive difference. You notice it. Just what he does. He works pitches. He gets on. He's just a nuisance in the box. So I mean, and it's also a type of thing with the Yankees. They have to sign him. You have to give him what he wants. You can't let him walk away.
Oh yeah, no, he's too young and too talented. You can't do that. You can't let him go.
$600 million, and then it's going to come down to the same thing. The Yankees is what wins in October. It's pitching. It's your starting pitching. It's your bullpen. So we got this. The Yankees got an unbelievable lineup with Judge and Soto, probably the best 2-3 in baseball. But our pitching is probably going to keep us away from October. Hey, Parker, how's it going? Thanks for I think you're on a Flowers or DK. I think you're talking fantasy.
Is it fantasy football?
I would go Flowers just because I
Me
have
too.
Flowers.
Yeah, Parker, that's Once Upon a Sunday, which is on another channel. It's on our channel, but it's on another show. But we appreciate you tuning in.
Parker,
awesome, man. Either way, Parker, it's all good, Parker.
Come in and talk baseball. Comment. You're always welcome. We love comments. Thank you for joining us, Parker. I appreciate it. But Soto's the best player on that team.
You're right, Russ. He's so good, man. It's like, it's crazy stupid. I mean, him and Judge are getting on base 50% of the time. It's just nuts. And the amount of home runs that Judge is having, it's just a crazy season, man. I mean, you were just saying it right there. 136 RBIs, which is freaking 33 more than Soto even has. Like, it's just nuts, man. So, like, those two guys for this category, is it just one person, or is there more than one that gets?
You got three.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say it's gonna be Soto. It's going to be Judge. And the third one, I really thought going into the season, it was going to be, Santander. But I'm not.
Santander, yeah.
My bad. Santander. But, he doesn't even have 100 RBIs. And it's just like, I don't know. It's such a tough one here. But I guess, yeah, I don't know. So I'm going to go Merrill, kind of like you, and then Soto and Judge. That's who I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Durant's right there, obviously.
Yeah, sorry, you're doing Durant too, yeah.
Oh, the All-Star MVP, the guy's doing. I love watching Durant. Played locally, played at Long Beach State, so good for him. But I just what Merrill's doing with the Padres, 98 home runs, 98 RBIs, 98 home runs would be fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Santander's having a solid season, but yeah, definitely, not having 100 RBIs, and Profar's having a good year for the Padres too. I think the DH we can both agree is locked up for first team, and that's Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, nice bet
easily.
And Yordan Alvarez is having a phenomenal year too, but. Ohtani is out of this world. The guy's, 288, 372, 612 slugging, 48 home runs, 110 RBIs, and not just, I mean, he's doing it on the base path too. We've never seen, you've never seen a season like this. So, I mean, there's no conversation. This guy is the NL MVP. And I mean, it's insane for a guy living up to the amount of contract. I don't know if the Dodgers win it in the first year. Obviously, they're probably the betting favorite. I think it's very tough to win in the first year with a super team. But, I mean, just the amount of eyes, and I think that what the Dodgers were doing when they deferred the Ohtani contract and when he's making $20 million in 10 years, that they knew the amount of merchandise they can sell, the amount of marketing, the amount of eyes that they can market Ohtani is going to make up for him making so much money and from 40 to 58 or something like that.
Yeah, but last time I was on, like we were talking about, is they got to do it though. Like, it's got to happen every year with him in these deferred contract cycles. That you're not winning the whole thing, it's a loss. To me, it's a loss. Like, you got to try to maximize these next 9, this year included, 9 years before you get to the 10th, and you got to win as many World Series as you can because you got them for nothing. So whatever that means, like getting rid of Roberts if it's not working, getting rid of anyone, literally anyone's on the chopping block to me, because he is so special and so talented. And the Dodgers have seen it in year one. It's like, you got to do whatever it freaking takes to make this work out. So yeah, it might not work out this year. And I'm also trying not to put that pressure on it, even though I'm saying we need a win. Because I feel like sometimes they just put too much pressure on themselves, and then they just let themselves down and the fans down. So, but yeah, dude, like, they gotta win. Like, you can't. You're playing with Vegas's house money for 9 years. You gotta win. Like, you got a supreme edge here, and you gotta figure it out. So, I mean, he's definitely going to be the MVP in the NL. He's definitely first team DH. I mean, it's not even a question. He's got like 25 more RBIs in general compared to Alvarez. Also Houston, whatever, So yeah, I'm going to go Ohtani on that one. Easy move. And he's just playing out of this world, man. Just like he's in another galaxy right now.
I mean, I think at one point we gambled a little bit. I haven't looked at the odds. I'm sure you got to put a whole lot of money on Ohtani right now if you're going to pick him to win the MVP to make, a nice dollar.
Oh, yeah. I was actually just about to look it up and see here what it is. As of the 16th, let's see here. Judge is holding on to $3,000. You got to bet $3,000 to win $100. Let's see. Where's Ohtani? He is coming in at Okay, so Otani, he's 2,500, so almost the same as Judge. So yeah, you got to bet a lot of money, which I guess if you know it's going to be a lock, which I do, throw down 250 grand to win like 10 grand or something,
Yeah, but are you going to throw 250 to win 10?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what you would have to do. Yeah, 250 grand to win 10 grand. Yeah,
I don't have 250 grand, spare just to put around. I guess I can make an extra.
I've seen weirder things happen. So yeah, Vegas would see that one come in. They'd be like, "Oh, okay, Otani's not winning it. This guy's getting screwed."
There was a college football one. A guy like live betted and put like 10 grand down, and it was like a lock, and the team ended up losing. And I'm like, dude, you just put 10 grand.
Yeah,
it's a lock. And
yeah, he put like 10 grand down to win like $500 or something. And he was like, "Oh yeah, no, easy money." It's like, no, nothing is ever easy in gambling.
We're going to mess with you. Sorry, we made a phone call.
Yeah. The ref got the text on his thing. He's like, said, "Hey, call a penalty on this play." Oh, okay, I got you.
It sounds like something they do with Mahomes. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Oh, they're about to lose. He's about to throw an interception. Throw that flag. Throw that flag. Pass interference, come on.
Right,
offsides from some guy random,
we're gonna rattle off some pitchers. We got 5 pitchers. Rattle off. We'll go super quick. Trying to wrap it up here. I thank you everybody for tuning in. Obviously, always like, comment, and subscribe. Pitchers, obviously, we got 5. I'm going Chris Sale, 17-3. Tarek Skubal, 16-4. I think those are the 2 Cy Youngs from the NL and AL. He's 16-4.
Yep.
His impressive. Skubal's got a 94 whip. So that's pretty
impressive. He's tearing it up.
206 average against him. I'm going Zach Wheeler at 15-6, 96 whip, and Seth Lugo, 111 whip, 1.11. Now, I'm going to let you go with the 4 because I want to rant on number 5 for me, but you picked your 5, Pete.
Yeah, so I think I actually had all of those same, but I was also going to take Flaherty just because I'm a Dodgers guy. I think Flaherty for us this year, he's been the one key pitcher in our lineup. He's just been tearing it up, man. So, I actually went to go see him play a couple weeks ago when they played the Marlins, and he pitched lights out. So I'm going to take the same 4 you started with, but I'm also going to throw Jack Flaherty in there. I guess you could probably say he might be second team instead of first team. But I just really like what he's done for our Dodgers team, and he's been a constant too. He's been a rock in a lineup that's had a lot of injuries. So for that, I'm going to put him into first team.
I think I agree with you on that. I'm putting him in. Flaherty having an unbelievable bounce back here, 12-7, a 3.04 ERA, 2.23 average against him. I agree with you, but now where I want to go is. I really want to put in. I don't know if he has the amount of innings, but I want Paul Skeens in there. I want Paul Skeens. 10-3, 2.07 ERA. He's got 158 strikeouts. He's what? He's number 5 on the list he's down there, but he's in the top 10 of strikeouts. And how many games has he pitched? 13. 15 games over these guys. So I want Skeens in there. He's got a 98 whip. I really hope he does. I don't know if he does because I don't know if they're going to go what they go off of, innings pitched or anything like that. He doesn't doesn't have enough to qualify. But I think for that, I think those 4 guys are kind of locked in where you could throw it for Flaherty, Shohei Imanaga, who's 14-3, Corbin Burns, Valdez. Flaherty's right there too, and what he's doing for this team. But I would love to see Paul Skeens. I'm a huge Paul Skeens fan. I root for Paul Skeens. Obviously, Southern California boy from El Dorado, and Flaherty is a Southern California boy.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a Cowboy too, man. Come on,
Flaherty, Harvard, Westlake. So both, but I met Paul Skeens. I scouted Paul Skeens. So I don't know Jack Flaherty. He's probably a great guy, Paul Skeens. I just love his makeup. I love his character, and speaking to him as a 17-year-old, I'm like, this guy is an adult. This guy's a man. I will root for that guy every which way. And knowing the story from going to Air Force because he wants to serve our country to, okay, I'm going to go to LSU because he saw the potential of being that a top 5 pick, ended up going 1, but also coming out and saying, after my time, I'm going to go do my duty and go back and serve in the Air Force because I want to serve my country. I'll root for this Paul Skeens every which way. I hope one of these days, I hope the Pirates make the playoffs because I'd love to see them facing some of those top-of-the-line hitters, in the playoffs. It's the same thing. I hope we don't squander his career like the Angels did Mike Trout. But Pete and relievers, I didn't know much. I put Emmanuel Chase and Mason Miller. Don't even have to comment about that. I'm so bullpen's a team thing. So I really don't know. But Pete, I want to thank you for coming on the second time. Always welcome to come back. I feel we had a great show, great fun time. Love talking some baseball with you.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, Pete, you're always welcome back. We're on every Wednesday night, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Sorry, I was getting a text and kind of got a little distracted, but you're always welcome to come on. You're always joy. Pete, you bring some solid energy, so it's nice to have someone to talk to. Because sometimes I'm on here talking to myself, so sometimes it's nice to have someone to bounce some ideas off. You give me some ideas, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Parker, you're always welcome to come back. We love you. We love people like, comment, and subscribe. We always love comments. So, Parker, you want to talk some baseball? Come on back. This is On Deck on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan here with Pete Gallagher. You guys have a great night.
Later.